Are you getting frustrated with a certain aspect of your partner? Maybe the part that gets angry, upset, reactive, shamey, critical, inundating, a lot of opinions of what you're doing and not doing. Or maybe there's a part that gets really defensive, dismissive, withdraws, avoids hard conversations. Maybe there's a part that gaslights you when you're sharing your experience. Maybe there's a part that feels really inadequate and insecure, and it's making it hard to really have the juiciness of that adult connection, feeling that spark, that polarity, the sexiness. Well, if so, congratulations, you are in relationship with the part of us that we all have to navigate, which is the shadow. Every single human being has light and shadow, the strengths and weaknesses, challenges. And what we're going to go into in this episode is the deeper dive of how to be in right relationship with the shadow part of the partner. There's a lot of people on social media that describe what to do with the shadow in relationship, and sometimes the narrative isn't helpful. It's sentences like this: well, that's their shit. They need to go do work. They need to do the healing. And once they've done all that, then they come back into the relationship with that healed, more mature version of themselves, which, yeah, it's not wrong. And it's also not the most helpful, because Courtney and I have seen people who have spent years single, not able to do relationship, believing that narrative that it's their shit. It's always our shit. When we're in relationship with another person, we are being invited to learn the sacred we, how to love that shadow part of them. And this is the episode that we're bringing you today. How to love your partner in their shadows while also setting boundaries. It's super important. And this is one of the most challenging places that we've seen for the couples that we have supported over the years, is how do I love my partner while not also enabling the shadow part of them that is impacting our connection or our life? This is the episode that's going to go into this exact place. And we're going to hit 3 key points for you. By the end of this, you will have so much more clarity and context of what to do. First topic that we're going to hit is you don't just live beside your partner's shadows, you're in relationship with them. Number 2, loving their darkness isn't the same as enabling it. And number 3, the way you learn to love your own shadows, well, that's exactly how you end up loving theirs. Welcome to The Sacred We, the #1 podcast that teaches about sacred relating, which is using the medium of the relationship for your own awakening. This is for conscious couples that are so done with mediocre ways of relating and know that relationship is this place where we are meant to thrive, to give from an overflowing cup in a way that is inspiring to others, that's in service to humanity. This is for the couples that are here and committed to make love the legacy. If that's you, my friend, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of this content and join the tribe of the Sacred We. Now let's get into today's episode.
In our culture, there is a very strong belief that our partner's stuff is our partner's stuff, and my stuff is my stuff, and we have to deal with our own stuff. You know, people will say that. You got to deal with your own stuff, or it's a very common thing, you know. Well, that's his stuff. Or, well, they've got to do their own work. And this is true to an extent. And what we say that's different is that actually we do end up really deeply relating with each other's shadows, with each other's patterns and wounds. And as we are deepening in sacred relationship, I am experiencing that. I'm experiencing a deepening, not only in love with Mike and not only in love with our life, but I'm actually deepening in intimacy with Mike, your shadows. I'm deepening in relationship with them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any shadows.
Okay, that's one of the shadows. No, just joking. Just joking. So, for example, one of Mike's shadows, as many of you know, he was adopted twice, and then his emotional needs weren't met in the way that he needed growing up.
To
And
process through the difficulty and the overwhelm for a little baby, losing his mom and losing 2 primary attachments in 14 months, just to name it specifically.
yeah. And so what that means is one of Mike's shadows that he's working through, but it's very present and has been very present, is his body holds a lot of numbness and freeze and shutdown around connection. So in our day-to-day, and this is the thing, people that relate with Mike, not every day, not their intimate partner, wouldn't necessarily know this part of him, because he comes across as very relational, and he is
confident and
yeah. But when you become his intimate partner and you're in the day-to-day with him, and his nervous system reads me different, then what I've come into relationship with is the part of Mike that is, what happens is he doesn't show in any visual cues that he wants connection, is interested in connection, or available for connection. So what it will look like visually is he'll look far away, he'll look uninterested, his face looks blank. And what I would think is happening is Mike wants space, he doesn't want to connect. Over time, what I have come to understand, because Mike will tell me that inside he's really, really wanting connection. And when I do reach out and I touch him and squeeze his bum, that he likes that. But on the outside, it's actually very hard to see.
when I'm in the shadow.
How I would say it is, it's when you're in the shadow, and there's actually always some flavor of it around. No matter how much you're out of the shadow, there's some flavor. How I would describe it, it's like there's this layer between you and I where I can feel how much in intimate relationship growing up it wasn't available, and your body just learned not to look for it, not to show signs that you needed it. And I know this as a somatic therapist, people's bodies will just stop showing signs. The body will actually stop looking. So the person inside can be thinking, I really want connection, I really desire connection. But on the outside, there's no visual cues of that because the body's given up. And so I'm always relating with that to some degree with Mike. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but it's there. And what used to happen for me is I would feel in so much distress, so upset. I didn't like this shadow. I just want to be in connection. This isn't fair. I had a lot of stuff coming up around it, right? And as we've sunk into relationship, I have come into a deep acceptance. Oh, this is part of Mike's journey. And so I get to relate with all this goodness about Mike, and this is part of what he's working through. And so I have surrendered to the fact that this is the beautiful shadow that I am in constant relationship with, and I'm learning to relate with in a healthy way. And for me, letting go of the idea of this is just yours and I shouldn't have to relate with this, and coming more into, oh, I am in relationship with this. There's something freeing about that, because then it's bringing me into a learning. And also bringing me into a deeper intimacy with you, because suddenly I don't have to get away from the shadow, or you don't have to have it totally healed in order for me to relate with you. Suddenly it's now part of the dance. And I'm proud to say I'm intimately getting to know that part and slowing down, and hey, there you are. And it's evolving, it's changing over time.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing that work. It's super helpful. Thanks for being an ally to help me rewrite that one and give me mirrors and reflections for when it's present, because the interesting part of that shadow, and I just want to orient anyone listening when we're talking about shadow, a simple way of thinking of it is the challenged part of ourself, where it's hard. There's themes where
Wounds. We're hurt there.
these wounds show up, and it creates these themes of, oh, this is hard to do, or it's hard to advocate for what I need, or it's hard to reach out for connection, or it's hard to receive love and reassurance without getting triggered and pushing away. We all have our different version of shadows. That's shadow. And I get to learn how to overcome that one in this life. Being adopted, I get to learn how to love myself. I get to learn how to lean into connection, even though my body perceives that it can be dangerous and scary and threatening sometimes. When I'm triggered into that shadow, that's the challenge. Oh, my body's perceiving overwhelm, feeling suffocated and inundated, and it wants to bolt. So then I go a bit numb. I stop showing signs of connecting, hoping, to survive the distress from something that happened way back when. So thank you for doing that work and learning how to love that part of me, learning how to accept that there's going to be a theme of it probably till the end of time. And we get to be allies to learn about it together and soften it together over time. I'm very grateful so that my body can learn connection is safe, it is reliable, it is consistent. And I can see there's a wisdom in my soul in choosing you because you're so devoted. I've felt that at the very beginning, that you had the capacity as a human being to see that was trauma that I am here to overcome, that's not going to be gone in a month or two, and that you're a very devoted person. And it's been very healing to notice your capacity to move towards that part that most people couldn't see or figure out. So thank you.
Mm. And
you got
I have shadows.
Well, one of your shadows that I want to describe that's been interesting to navigate is those of you that know Courtney know that she's a powerhouse and strong and capable, but also very sensitive and very tender and needs things to be gentle. And one of the shadows that I've had to learn to navigate is I'm also a force of nature, and there's a place where I represent or trigger parts of you where in your imprint, you've been hurt by the masculine. You've been taken from by society, by partners. We'll just say the masculine in your life, your line. There's been places of being hurt, and where my imagining, or from what we've talked about, is it's scary inside in relationship to a man who is embodying power, and where there's a place that the masculine can take advantage of what you have to offer and not reciprocate. And one of the things,
can I speak to it
yes,
a little bit, just to broaden it a little, is I have had, it's interesting. I was at Earth Daughters Festival, and I started to realize that I have this to a much bigger degree than quite a few women, just because of my childhood. I have had to have a very strong fight in relationship to the masculine. So I've had a very strong, I'm going to fight for my life energy, that not everybody has with the masculine. And so I avoided very masculine people because of that. And coming into relationship with Mike, it was very clear that, okay, he's going to be dancing with this part of me that's actually really afraid of the masculine and had to fight so hard for my own well-being.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was so tricky too, because inside of myself, I would think or convince myself I'm loving, I'm warm, I'm gentle, and there would be a response or reaction that would give me a report card saying something different, the report card of what I'm actually embodying. And sometimes it would be out of proportion to what I'm actually in. Sometimes it would be mirroring a place of, oh yeah, maybe I am in a bit of harshness. Maybe my energy is too strong. Maybe it's moving too quickly. And I remember having the thought in the beginning, oh, I wish she would just do her work and soften this part that's perceiving me as so dangerous or aggressive And what I have humbly learned over time is being in life with you means forever. There's going to be a place where I get to learn how to be in the care of your nervous system and understand your nervous system when in shadow triggered, and an ever underlying flavor of feeling unsafe in my presence. And to learn how to bring ingredients to me or back, I see that that's happening, or I notice the subtle cues to offer over softness, gentleness, move towards a hand on your back, making eye contact, saying, hey, what just happened there? Hey, I'm here. I love you. You matter. And that for me has been so empowering and liberating to learn that shadow's not going anywhere. And what's ironic, and this is an important one for you listening, there's so many couples we end up supporting where the default inner desire is for the other person to do the work to get rid of the sensitivity, to get rid of the reactivity. And what we found, and what I have deeply appreciated and honored, is it's not just, yes, the partner has to do work to soften these wounded places where it gets reactive. And what I've been learning is, oh my goodness, I'm triggering it by not acknowledging, by not seeing that that's there, that it's not going anywhere, and to stop making it about you and to start really honoring its we. I am always going to be projected, or I will always be projected onto. I'm always going to represent the ingredients that created the shadow, the wound. And that's part of the sacred we work. Okay, I care about that. And I want to get to know your owner's manual of what's needed to offer over the gentleness, the reassurance, there are places I do that, and that matters to me, so that it becomes less of a speed bump or experience of rupture that brings us into the story of the wounded place, which is, that is true, and then farther apart and disconnected.
Yeah. I remember at the beginning of our relationship one day crying in the car to you and saying, this is part of my shadow. I'm so afraid of men, and there's this fierce protector, and this is what I'm going to be working on healing in an ongoing way, and sort of letting you know, are you okay that you're going to be dancing with that? And you want to talk about love. It's one thing to say, hey, this is all the good things about me. But it's another to say, hey, this is the part that's going to be really hard to relate with me around. But also that for me was such a deepening of intimacy. But this is where, we wanted to go into the next part of speaking about how do we actually love the darkness without enabling? Because so often people will equate, oh yeah, I can love my partner and I'll just keep loving and loving and loving and loving and loving, and then it will heal. But we're not saying that love is not having boundaries. In fact, if you don't have boundaries with your partner's shadow, that's also not it.
The shadow will drive the bus and destroy the relationship if we let it.
Yeah. So, in my version, if Mike just enabled my fear of the masculine, he would just be doing whatever I wanted all the time.
Nice guy, whatever you want, sweetie. Oh my God, overtaking responsibility and adjusting and maneuvering myself to help you feel safe and secure.
And, if I was enabling Mike, then there'd be a lot of distance between us.
You'd let me take so much space. I would just live in another house on the property and take lots of vacations, and the relationship would be great.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be, because inside you'd be
in my head.
You'd be, I'm so alone. Courtney doesn't love me. That's the tricky. But yeah, totally, the story.
The wounded story would be convinced that would be great.
Yeah. So we have to, we're talking about being in relationship with your partner's shadows. Relationship is a combination of connection and boundary. That's what creates relationship. That's how we know we're in relationship. boundary and connection. And so, for me, what this has looked like with Mike's shadow, is loving it, seeing this little boy, seeing this baby, learning how to, oh, here's this part of Mike, and then learning how to actually ask for what I need still, and also make requests and have boundaries. So for example,
and mirror and reflect. I just want to highlight, because that's been such a valuable one, especially with anyone, if you're listening, any of your partners who have had a lot of neglect, or if that's you. One that's really tricky is they don't know what they're expressing non-verbally. So your mirrors and reflection of, oh, your face looks really cold, you're not making eye contact, your body while you're talking to me saying how much you want to connect is literally pointed towards the door.
Or when I'll say lots is, you feel far away.
Yeah.
I'll say, I notice I'm feeling sad and I want to feel connected, and you feel far away.
It's been so helpful.
And then Mike's face is like, oh, I am far away. So the other one though is when I start to feel that feeling of, oh, Mike's not available for connection and he doesn't want to connect with me. Then I make the request, hey, can you come and rub my face? Hey, can you squeeze my butt? Hey, I invite him out.
Love when you do that.
So what I'm needing from his body, I invite him out, because I'm perceiving he doesn't want to connect, but I know he does. So I invite him out.
The wiring's just missing, because it's not what I watched modeled, and that neglect is, though, there's no information to access. And when you ask so clearly for what it is that you need and draw me back into connection through my shadow into the new story that is so oh, I'm relieved, because it's actually what I need to.
Yeah. And I also have set, boundaries of, I need a minimum of this much connection, or I need a minimum of, which isn't me trying to control him. It's me being honest about what I need to feel good,
You'll often say, you don't have to do this, but what would feel really good for me is this. Mm-hmm. So great.
Yeah. And so this is a way that I'm not feeding the shadow. I'm not feeding it. I'm not making it bigger. I'm just, here it is. How can I be an ally? But also, hey, I'm actually not going to go down that road with you. But I'm going to do things to help create the new story. And that's where, there's these choice moments of, I could pout, I could be mad about it. Why do I have to do it? But then it's like, well, right now I want to feel connected to Mike. So what do I need to do to help that happen?
So great. This is where you get to teach me how to love you in a way that is working in relationship to my shadow, not letting it drive the bus.
You know what I just saw an image of? We've also had times where I've said, I need your face to show more warmth. And then Mike tries to, he puts on this smile and he lights up his
like
head.
This? If you're watching the video, it looks like this.
Am I doing it? Do I look more connective? And I'm like, yeah, it's a little fake, but
better
it's
than
better.
cold face.
It's getting better.
And then we have this joke, and we're like, this is just face. This is just my face. I can't change my face. And then we laugh, and then it usually brings me back online and just brings levity. And I'm glad you said that, because really, when we're in relationship to each other's shadows, the more levity we can bring to it, the more we are just accepting, yep, partner has shadows. There are these challenge places. And me being in a relationship with you, I've had to really learn how to build strength and tone in myself when that part in you, the shadow, perceives me as a threat or dangerous and gets really upset about that and enraged about that. I've had to build strength and tone to bring in pauses if I need it, to not let that part drive over me to a place of collapse or shutdown. I've had to actually stand up to it. I've had to, two things. I've had to honor and respect where it's accurate, and there's a place where I can default to defend, but there's another place where I actually have to stand up to it. Whoa, okay, now it's perceiving. It's just your brain is remembering the past where you've been really hurt, and I'm just standing here trying to move towards you, trying to offer reassurance, and the intensity of what your brain's perceiving me at is too much. So if I enable, in the places where I have enabled it, I collapse and go nice guy and I start fawning, because I just don't want to deal with the backlash of an enraged feminine who's so powerful. I have actually had to go into, hey, whoa, hey, want to say that in different words? Hey, can we just pause for a second? I'm triggered. I'm losing myself. Can we just slow down? Can we just make eye contact? Hey, can we go to the couch and just breathe together? This is too fast for me. And then finding the place where I can sometimes mirror and reflect. I'm really perceiving that a lot of what's being projected right now is about someone else, not me. Dad, partners, the masculine in general, the patriarch. I'm not the patriarch, and advocating for that.
But it's also helpful when you name, I probably am doing things like that too. That helps me a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad you named that.
Because when you'll say, I don't think I'm doing that, but I might be. Or there probably are parts of me that are embodying the patriarch right now that I'm not aware of.
Or this one, this has been an important one, is me naming and acknowledging that in my imprinting, there is a lot of meanness and violation in the masculine up my line and in me in the past, like DML days. Anyone who doesn't know DML, this is drug dealer Mike back in the days. I did embody meanness, and so I know that's in my field, and there's places where I'm triggered in a part where it is in the field, even if I'm not overtly expressing it. And so I will just name, hey, just so you know, there's a part of me, pissed, is perceiving you as this. And there's a meanness. I just want to name and own. Excuse me. There is a part here. Yep. And most of me is in this, and I love you, and I feel soft, and
that really helps me feel met, but you're not feeding the story that you're bad or that you're wrong or that you are, because that could be the way I could get enabled. Right?
Well, I've done that in the past. I've just worn the hat of I'm a monster. Of course, everything you're sharing is true, but then I'm giving away my power that actually hasn't been serving for you. It actually makes me think of when we first started dating. There was something in the field and in a dynamic playing out where I actually came in really fiercely and said, hey, Courtney, I'm really noticing there's a place where you'll let abuse come in to the field. You'll let yourself kind of get washed away in masculine energy that's dominating. It's not actually helpful for our relationship. Do you notice that? And I remember the look in your eyes in the car. Oh, no one's really stood up for that or brought in protection. Oh, and then I remember you coming out of this almost delusion of, oh, that does happen for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the way we learn to love our own shadows, so what I want you to think about is, because most of you out there are doing your own work, you're on some journey of doing your own work. The process we go through in ourselves is also the process we go through with our partner. So, for example, usually when we discover one of our new shadows, we're in denial about it. Then we start to notice it. Then it gets bigger. Then we're like, oh God, I don't want to have that shadow. Then we want to push it away. Then we have to start to slow ourselves down and get curious about that shadow. And what do I notice about that shadow? And what does that shadow need? And can I relate with it a little bit more? Oh, what are some good ingredients? Oh, I need to have a boundary with the shadow. So everything we do inside, we're also needing to do with our partner's shadow. It's the same kind of journey. What are the right ingredients? But again, we live in a culture that has gotten so individualized that we're actually thinking that we only do that in ourselves and you do that over there with yourself and that's it, right? But no, for intimacy, we're actually going to be doing that with our partner's material too. Now, Mike has to also be working with that material in some degree, right? He also has to be becoming aware of it, taking responsibility. It's not solely my responsibility to tend to or deal with that. Okay.
That would be enabling.
That's enabling. But I do need to learn how to be in that journey with him. And also our partner is going to have various shadows that they're not fully aware of yet, or they're not ready to deal with yet. or it's not time yet. And, we all have that. We all have blind spots. We all have a pile of stuff. We can't deal with all the pile of stuff all at once. We're moving at one step at a time. And so it means that we are having to develop an ability to love our partner in the journey.
Which ends up loving our own shadows and vulnerabilities. That's been one of the most enlightening and liberating parts of our relationship, where I had the insight or the realization, all the places you trigger the shit out of me is an opportunity for me to take ownership on my projections that are an avoidance of me loving the vulnerability that's underneath the trigger itself. Because if I didn't have strength and security within myself, it wouldn't be so triggering. Mm-hmm. And when I see a projection happen, very quickly now, I'm able to hit the place of, where is that in me? Yep, that's where that's in me. Where do I not want that to be in me? Oh yeah, this is why I want to change it in her. This is why I feel so hurt by it, because I still haven't found the ability to fully allow, accept, and embrace that challenged part of me. And this is the gift of the sacred we. We get to be allies, to see the projections, own the projections, and hold the tenderness in our partner, knowing that that is the holding the tenderness in ourselves. And I'm so grateful for that, because you having, and this is so great, the vulnerabilities you have in your system has actually taught me how to embody a more connected, aware use of my power. That if you didn't have those, I wouldn't be getting that same practice day in and day out of, whoa, I triggered her. Oh my God, now she feels unsafe again. If I just lived in the, oh my God, I just want a easier partner. If I did that path, I would actually probably bulldoze through my mission in life, because I wouldn't get a day-to-day practice of, how am I embodied in my energy? Am I leading well? Am I aware of my expression, my nonverbal? Am I being gentle in my approach? Am I pro-relationship here? Am I in we energy, or am I... It's given me so many reps that now what I've noticed is it's trickled. And this is just the bonus for all of you listening, of double downing on learning how to love shadow in the relationship, is it makes us better leaders in the world. It makes us more attractive and valuable in the work that we do. It trickles out into our friendships. It trickles out into how we parent. It's the thing that helps us grow up.
Yeah. And there's been so many moments in our relationship where, when we get to dance in this way, maybe one day I don't got it. I'm not able to meet myself in a certain way. And then Mike's able to come in and love me in that shadow in a way that maybe I can't in that moment. And then that is healing. And the vice versa, right? This is the healing too. It doesn't always have to come from ourselves. We do need to learn how to do it for ourselves, but we also need to learn how to do it for each other and pick each other up, right? And, we were just jamming on this. We were at Earth Daughters, and I was needing a pep talk on something. And the benefit to being in relationship with someone for almost 6 years and journeying so deeply and getting to know each other's shadows is, Mike's now getting to know my shadows so well that when I'm struggling with something, the feedback and the reflections he can give me are so valuable, because he knows me so well. He knows my shadows in a way that nobody else does. So then he comes in, and the support he gives, I'm oh, wow, nobody's been able to name that or see that, because they didn't journey so deeply with me in that place, right? That's the benefit to it. Yeah. That's the gifting. Whoa, you can see my blind spots and help me when I get stuck, We need that as humans. We need that.
That's adult relating right there. And I love this definition of intimacy that we use, and this entire conversation highlights it so beautifully, that true intimacy is creating safety for both people. When there's this safety, we get to actually deeply understand the other person and all of the uniqueness of what makes them them, and come in these rich moments and help, encourage, hold, call out. So much stronger together.
And so, just to speak to that shadow self in you, yes, there is no escaping. You will be relating with some sort of shadows with no matter who you're partner with. May you find someone where you want to learn about each other's shadows together. That would be my prayer for you. And that you want to be curious together, because you will. You will. It's part of the journey.
Part of the journey. And then where it's hard to do that, there's the challenge and the struggle of rupture and repair, which is very divinely aligned with an offer that we have coming up that is on rupture and repair to teach you how to do that.
A masterclass, a 90-minute masterclass.
90-minute masterclass where we're going to give you framework, sound bites that helps you integrate and master this place so that you can experience the juiciness of relationship and safety with each other.
This is on July 20th, a Monday, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. PST. It's $97. Last time we had a lot of people sign up for a masterclass and find it really helpful. Our intention is for you to really walk away with a clear, easy framework to use so that you start to be able to practice the art of rupture and repair in your daily life. One of our favorite things is after our last masterclass, just a week later, a couple that had attended told us that in one of their moments in their relationship, they were able to meet each other better than they ever had before, because in that moment, they brought through that framework and had a new tool, and they both were able to move through a place they hadn't in over 25 years.
And we're just going to be honest here. It's great to listen to these podcasts and grab all this information. And if it doesn't turn into actual practice, embodiment, then you don't get the benefit. So this is the opportunity, the most accessible way to get into doing the work with us, real live coaching in the moment. You can ask questions to make sure that it's landing. So make sure you get that relationship that you really want.
We're going to practice. We'll be practicing.
And we'd love to practice with you. So if you want to check that out, just scroll down the show notes. There will be a link. Click that and tell you more information. You can reserve your seat. And as always, please, if you got value out of this, let us know. Comment. We read all the comments. And give this a like, subscribe, hit the bell if you're on YouTube. And we'll see you on the next one.